Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Sports In. We have an interesting lineup for you for the next hour, and I hope for Lay and Port Moresby soccer followers, the NSL matches must have kept you busy over the weekend. Now for the rest of you, I hope you've actually gone out and shown support for your local teams and or competitions. I had my fair share of football down at the PNG Football Stadium, where FC Bougainville met with Star Mountain and later Gulf Comara and Kutubu FC met. Bradley, you were busy with rugby league.
Of course, over the weekend, a much anticipated AGM, of course,
That's
and
right.
They dropped a deferral of the AGM to a later date.
Yeah. Now, what else do we have in store?
Yep, okay, apart from rugby league in the lineup, in recognition of the International Women's Day, we take a look at what's available for our elite female athletes, especially the ones who are planning to get back to their sport after pregnancy and childbirth. Also, we look at a roundup of the NSL, and we discuss the PNGRFL AGM Deferral in our Have Your Say segment.
All right, so before moving along, let's take a look now at the scoreline this week.
We kickstart the show in celebration of the International Women's Day, which was on Sunday. Now, last week, we spoke to PNG triathlete Rachel Saperi-James about her Olympic Qualifiers preparations. What stood out was her journey back into her sport. In the next story, we look at the challenges, or rather one natural yet challenging aspect of a female athlete's career, and that's pregnancy, motherhood, and what's available to assist post-pregnancy in order to get back into sports.
For any sports person, it is paramount to maintain their form and stay at the peak in order to be competition ready. But for many female athletes, recovering from pregnancy and childbirth and getting back into form is always a challenge. For elite athletes who are still passing up the possibility of having children, or even the ones who have had children and have left sports, there are rehabilitation programs available to get you back to your peak.
Here at the High Performance, the elite athletes come in to see us at the Sports Medicine Clinic, High Performance, and then we undergo the physio screening test, and then from there we identify different or specific areas where they're weak or their instability on that, then we take them through the rehab process.
The rehab works are athlete specific and they will be tailored to suit your needs.
Advice to them is we are here, we have professional trained staffs at the High Performance who do rehab and even do assess and screen the athletes properly, and then we go through them in different certain areas. So level 1, level 2, and level 3, and then we keep them on. So
they can always
Yes, they can always come in, especially the elite athletes. We are always available 24 hours, 5 days a week. We always at work, so here they can come see us and we make a program for them, and we have time for them to rehab them and coach them in the right way and process. So they mustn't think that it's not the end for them. We are here to help them and assist them through to return to sports as well.
PNG triathlete Rachel Sapiri-James, who is bouncing back from pregnancy and a cesarean childbirth, is a testament of the work's high performance and rehab can do.
Just to remain positive and get advice, ask your doctor, but also there's the high performance here that I've worked with. Come and get some advice and sit down, and even they do assessments. They can do an assessment on your post-pregnancy body and help you get back. The same process that Wendy and the sports physio medical team helped me. Come and see the high performance team if you're an elite athlete or team PNG athlete and you've had a baby and you want to get back into sport. I would definitely recommend coming here, but also get active after your pregnancy. It doesn't have to be strenuous. It can be come to the Tarama Aquatic Centre and have a little swim in the pool, the 25-metre pool. Water jogging is very good for just moving the body and getting back.
We'll head out for these short messages. Do stick around. We have round 9 roundup of the NSL up next. Stay with us.
Welcome back, you're watching Sports Scene. Clash of the season between two heavyweights in the Kumul Petroleum NSL, Hekari and Ley City FC met in Ley on Saturday. The much anticipated match comes off the back of the OFC Champions League Group A and B meet 2 weeks ago, where both teams competed and fell short of making the finals.
The two NSL giants took the field at the Sagnash's Kilagi Stadium in search of redemption. With both being current competition leaders in the NSL and equal on all fronts, Saturday's meet may have just been a glimpse of finals football in the NSL. Both went into the 9th and final game of round 1 fighting for lead until the 44th minute when Brazilian import Venancio scored through penalty to put Hekari ahead. And that was where the score remained going into halftime. And it would be Emmanuel Simon who took penalty shot for Ley to equalize 10 minutes into second half. Although the remaining 35 saw Ley failing to bar off Hekari at times, and even Hekari also wasted opportunities that saw both sides drawing at 1-1 at full time. This now means the standings do not change for them, but for newcomers VTS FC, they closed the gap between themselves and Ley City on the ladder after defeating Morobe Wawans 1-0. Still on the NSL, newly introduced Kutubu FC is probably changing the status quo. With the Highlands known popularly for following rugby league, Kutubu FC coach Matthew Witu says soccer is finding its place in some communities in the Highlands, and FC Kutubu is also doing its bit to spread a code. Introduced last year in the Kumul Petroleum National Soccer League 2019-2020 season, Kutubu FC took on the role of not only representing the Highlands region in the NSL, but also ensuring the spread of the code in their region.
But soccer has been played maybe some part of the Highlands, especially Kutubu area where they call us Last Papuans. So they've been playing, and most of the boys have been making their names, especially the likes of Michael Utieni Campbell, Umar Bobola. Before the PNGRFL started, they've been selected by Wartas Football Club in Australia. They've been playing 3 years contract in there. But after they came, then never one Highlands person came up. But we have been producing rugby league. Until then, we have Samuel Kinney, who just came in from Greece when the NSL started in 2006. Then Samuel Kinney came, then lately Vira Wama, but because of school commitment, so Highlands never produced anyone. But I think for today, we're trying to help, at least we want to produce some more islanders like that to make name for the islands.
In fact, it was after a successful season in the Hekari Soccer Association back in the home province the previous year when business houses in the area saw the potential of a team in the NSL, and with enough financial backing, Kutubu FC was injected into the National League.
The first team to be in this is the first team in the Highlands after Greece came in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 when Greece field distributors withdrew his sponsorship from Greece Islanders. Then there was a Petro South came from the Highlands all the way from the Southern Islands, sponsored by Pastor Joseph Isaac and the MRDC. Eventually it's only played a year and then maybe, I don't know, they just withdrew. And then until today, from 2010-11, after that the Islands we didn't have any NSL teams until today, 2019. The Hekari Soccer Association has really convinced the sponsors in the Kutubu mining area. So I think they came up to sponsor a team in the National Soccer League.
While it is their first season in the NSL, they do recognize that this is a competition they will have to show what they're made of.
And we are not here to make a number, but we really wanted to play and show them that we can still play soccer. So that's the main purpose of, sponsors have put up the team. But important thing is the outcome is not what we wanted, but we only wanted the progress of the players only, so that they can live a better person through sports.
The team's makeup sees all from the Highlands region.
All the players that I have, especially all the players are from the Highlands. We don't have anyone from the Nambis. It doesn't mean I'm trying to make a racism, but it's just that we want to promote the cult to the remote place of the islands, especially so that the team itself is made of Wabek. I got one from Wabek, Southern Islands, again, and maybe one or two players only. Those was with us in the conference league, which is Apromai last season. So we just picked them to be part of the team.
Although for a team this new in competition that has its match venues in rotation, there are bound to be challenges.
Our game is so tiring, especially when traveling from Goroka, Medang, Goroka, Leh, but it's all about us, the management, how we enroll the players, especially encouraging them while traveling. But it's good. They enjoy it because most of the boys haven't been traveling around the province. They enjoy traveling.
For now, they're well into the 2019-2020 season and they're still working to record more wins.
The competition with the team, so far we played 9 games, which is round 1, and we have a round 2 to go, which is another 9 games, 18 weeks of game. We only won 2, we lost 6. Today will be our last game for the round. We really wanted to win the game every day, but we're still working on it. There's time. We can't rush the things up. Everything has a season for everything, so we just patiently we're just waiting, but we're still looking forward for win.
And coach Matthew Witu remains optimistic, saying that along with the imports brought in by the other teams, there couldn't have been a better time than now to have this side in the NSL.
Bringing some international players coming to the team, and then for players playing against FC Kutubu, it's a challenge for them to play against international and national players. It's good. It's all about learning process. Winning is not the important thing that I'm looking at, but to produce a player is something that we coaches really wanted to see. and then good citizen of the country and wherever they come from.
Still on Kutubu FC, the meet with Gulf Komara here in Port Moresby did not go as planned, with them succumbing to a 2-0 defeat.
Going into round 9 of competition, Kutubu FC was looking for a win as they only have 2 wins under the belt. But it wasn't to be for them on Saturday as they took on the Gulf Komaras in the double-header here in Port Moresby. Going into the first half, it didn't take long before it was clear Gulf Komara was more hungry for a win, with Pala Paul pulling a number of attempts, including one that sailed past the bar. And with Kutubu putting up a fight, Komara even found the receiving end of a yellow card in a tussle. But there was no change on the score sheet as they went into halftime. Second half saw a much stronger opponent in the Komaras, who eventually pushed past Kutubu defense and with a header that found the back of the net through Kilagapi. And before Kutubu could respond, Komara scored again to bring the score to 2-0. And from then on, Komara's worked to stop Kutubu from catching up, and that was where the scoreline remained till full-time. Meanwhile, the earlier match between Star Mountain and FC Bougainville ended in a draw at 1 flat. Yeah, look, we hope Kutubu FC gets to record their 3rd win in the coming weekends. We'll go for a breather here and we bring you Tokyo 2020 segment, where we take a look at the PNG Boxers who attended the qualifiers in Jordan.
Welcome back, you're watching Sports Scene, and this segment is dedicated to Tokyo 2020. Team PNG is now 134 days away from the Olympics, and in this next story, we look at how our 3 boxers fared at the qualifiers in Jordan. After extended preparations in the ring for the country's 3 amateur boxers, they set out to the Jordanian capital for the showdown of the best in the Asia and Oceania for a chance to qualify for Japan 2020. Coach Mark Keto spoke of the qualification process for the boxing hopefuls before leaving.
For the Olympics, in order for them to qualify for the Olympics, they have to be in the 4th place at the Olympic qualifying in Jordan. So that means they have to win a medal, either color, whether it's gold, silver or bronze. That will automatically qualify them in the recent Olympic Games in Tokyo.
The departing team had 3 boxers: Flora Loga, Jamie Chang and John Ume. Flora Loga competed in the women's featherweight division. The young blood won gold at the Pacific Games in Samoa. With that experience under her belt, she left for Amman. Paired against an experienced fighter, she fell short. The referee ordering stoppage of the contest and awarding the win to her opponent from Mongolia. In the men's featherweight, PNG's Jamie Cheng succumbed to defeat to an Iranian opponent, again on stoppage. PNG's champion amateur boxer John Ume pounded his way through in the men's lightweight category, making past the first preliminary bout, outboxing his Saudi Arabian opponent. Progressing to the next round, Ume, who was one step closer to the quarterfinals, falling short to his taller Mongolian opponent, who used this height advantage to an unanimous 5-0 victory.
A little bit away from Team PNG athletes and their preparations, while all over the world athletes are trying out for the Olympics, it is hard to ignore the health concerns over the current outbreak of the coronavirus or COVID-19. Japan is already looking at the possibility of a postponement to a later part of the year, according to their Olympics Minister Seiko Hashimoto. On the other hand, the contract with the International Olympics Committee stipulates that the Games will be held within the year, and IOC President Thomas Bach insists the Games, which is scheduled for July 24th to August 9th, will go ahead as planned. Meanwhile, a number of Olympics qualifiers and World Championship events for various sports have already cancelled, postponed or moved to other countries in efforts to avoid the imminent threat of the virus and its spread. In the meantime, our Papua New Guinean athletes are going through qualifiers still.
We'll head out for a few short messages. PNGRFL top seeds in a tussle coming up next. Stay with us.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Sports Scene. Now, the PNGRFL Annual General Meeting has been deferred for at least 3 weeks. The meeting scheduled on the 7th of this month was moved to the 28th.
The PNGRFL board, through Chairman Sandy Saka, on the 11th hour made the announcement to defer the AGM. Chairman Saka says this is done to protect the integrity of the election process and in true spirit of the PNGRFL Constitution.
The AGM for the PNGRFL is being in consultation with our lawyers and CEO and the Election Steering Committee. The PNGRFL AGM is deferred to the 28th of March. The reasons for the deferral are to protect the integrity of the election process and to give time to the Election Steering Committee, CEO and his team to address serious issues that have come to light that would affect this election process.
The election of the league board is held every 3 years as part of the AGM. This year is the 7th. Positions of the chairman, directors of the 4 confederates are contested during this time. However, there were discrepancies identified on the eve of the election, which according to the PNGRFL has led to the deferral.
Allegations have come to light that a couple of the candidates for these elections were banned from administering the sport for life. One of the candidates especially was banned for life in 2006 by the PNGRFL from holding public office. Another candidate whose nomination became an issue when we were unable to ascertain if he was properly nominated, because the league, which one of the leagues that seconded his motion, information has come to light that there's a new, different president for the league.
The PNGRFL alleged a candidate banned for life by the PNGRFL judiciary in 2006 was nominated to contest the Southern Confederates director's position. On this basis, and backed by legal advice, the AGM was deferred to allow for a final decision. The person concerned is Peter Oresi, who is the president of the Popondetta Rugby League. He is awaiting the decision.
We learned over on a Facebook where one prophet of doom, someone we don't know the identity, posted regarding an incident that happened 15 years ago with my club, Port Moresby Butterflies at PRL, now NFS, whereby a referee was assaulted, and I was a minister at the time and a member of parliament, member representing the SOHE. I went down to the field to sort out this matter, and I was cited in the paper and said I was banned for life, which I never went before PNG Rugby League judiciary. to hear side of my story, or even I got a paper, I got a notice from Papua Rugby League to say that I was banned for life. In 15 years, I've been president of Papua Rugby League. Also, I have a club in Port Moresby called Butterflies, a rugby football league club. I participated as a president of the club and also as a league, and no one came with a notice to say that you are banned in the last 15 years and why are you continuing to support rugby league. But I got that note today.
Earlier, PNGRFL CEO Riata Rao announced the nominations without flaws.
Southern Confederate, there are two nominations as well. The first one is Mr. Peter Oresi. He was nominated by Brown Munema, president of the Mosby South Rugby League, and seconded by Arthur Patrick, Motukota Rugby League. And the second nominee is Mr. Goibo Mairi, the current director or the chairman. He was nominated by Roy Kakarere, president of the Kiunga Rugby League, and seconded by Emmanuel Morihari from Kirima Rugby League. Okay, so that's quite clear.
The deferral left a faction led by chairmanship nominee Brown Murema dissatisfied, sharing their thoughts outside.
Caught in surprise, we found out that there was a media conference held in the 11th hour before our national AGM is scheduled, with proceedings of agenda items given out, and we all, the presidents here, prepare ourselves to address some matters for the good of rugby league in our country. As a nominee to a chairman of Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League, I was surprised.
The PNGRFL also cited eligibility of several member affiliates who haven't paid in their player registration and league affiliation fees as a requirement to attend the AGM. The other faction is aware.
We've got 3 weeks and they're going to get back to us in a couple of days' time to those ones who are affected, to tell us this is the reason why this and that has happened. So until then, as soon as we get those the responses from them, then we will be able to make a formal response to them, and probably a formal statement should be made again to clarify those issues that they're going to raise with us.
The majority of the leagues have united for one cause. They as a group want to see smaller leagues in the country receive their share of benefits they deserve as member affiliates.
We are duly elected presidents from respective leagues that are here to attend the AGM. And there has to be some form of respect given back to the very people who sweat their guts week in, week out, in the hot sun, in unbearable conditions, trying to run rugby league. And we contribute a lot towards the development of this sport. And we appreciate the efforts that they are putting at the top end to develop Kumul's and Hunters programs and all. That is good. But what's filtering down to where it really matters is the issue that is at hand. And that's the reason why we are here, to see that these things are addressed.
And we have affiliated benefits. For me, for the last 7 years, we had not received all those benefits. The coaching training program, the referees training program, the sports administration program, our corn markers for the pads, post pads, and corner markers. These are benefits that we have not received over the last 7 years. And with no assistance, form of actual assistance in form of PNGRFL going down to assist us as presidents to ensure that we sustain leagues in terms of grand final assistance or whatever zone trial assistance we had received nothing.
The PNGRFL AGM is scheduled for the 28th of this month.
A statement regarding the deferral was also released by the PNGRFL, which can be found on our Sportsin page on Facebook. Don't go away. Coming up in the next segment, we discuss this deferral in our Have Your Say segment, where Fideli Sukina joins me. Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, you're watching Sports Scene, and this bit is Have Your Say. Our topic for this week, PNGRFL AGM Deferral. And joining us on set tonight is Fidelis Sukina from our sports team. Fidelis, thank you for coming on board.
Thank you very much, Bradley. Pleasure to join you tonight.
All right. The PNGRFL is perhaps the most influential sporting body besides the government's PNG Sports Foundation and the PNG Olympic Committee. Rugby League, of course, is the country's #1 sport. Its influence is evident in the amount of support it receives to run its program from the government and its partners. The Hunters, Kumuls and Orchids are testament of the resilience and growth of the sport over time at the elite level. Now, over the weekend, the PNGRFL annual general meeting was deferred. Fidelis, your thoughts on the main reasons or primary reasons that caused the deferral of this important AGM?
Well, the AGM was scheduled for the 7th of March on Saturday, but it was deferred due to mainly 2 reasons. The first being that some of the nominees had discrepancies with PNGRFL, so they had to convene to... There's a committee called the Selection Steering Committee, headed by the CEO, Reata Rao. So Reata Rao and them convened, and with the help of the PNGRFL board, made the decision to defer it to the 28th of March. The AGM can only be held in the month of March every year. So they had to put it down to the 28th of March, which is the last weekend on the month. So some of the reasons I just mentioned, just one, that being that some of the nominees had discrepancies with PNGRFL, so there was one. The other is some of the leagues owe some money to PNGRFL, that's affiliation fees, and also player registration and insurance as well. And some haven't completed their competitions, and some have conflicts in office bearers, with some leagues having 2 presidents. That's some of the concerns, which renders some of the affiliated leagues unqualified to take part in the AGM.
So the PNGRFL allowed one of the primary persons in the center of it all, who is Peter Oresi, an alleged banned for life rugby league administrator, to be president of an affiliate, which is the Popondetta Rugby League, until the 11th hour of the AGM, until it was noticed.
Yeah, I think Peter Oresi, he's a former member of parliament, a former member of Sohe in the Northern Province. So he was the former president of Butterflies Club that plays in the Port Moresby Rugby Football League. So the Butterflies Club in 2006 had an incident where some of the members of the club assaulted a referee, and I think Peter Oresi was implicated as well in that incident and was cited. It was sometime in August 2006 where the back page of the National reported that he was given a ban. Okay, so if you're given a ban by any affiliated leagues, that applies to the PNGRFL because the affiliated leagues are registered or affiliated to PNGRFL. So once the ban took effect on that level, it had to be put on to the PNGRFL and the other affiliates. But then again, like Peter Oresi mentioned, for the past 15 years, he has been working as the president of Popondetta Rugby League.
Yeah, and another question also brewing in the social space was there even a quorum to defer the AGM apart from the other allegations that surfaced, or warrants a deferral of the AGM for that sort?
From my understanding, PNGRFL board had to step in to stop the vote on the AGM because of to protect the important issue that was the legitimacy of the election process. So the main issue here is that with those implicated in let's say the ban itself, and also on the owing of money from the leagues to PNGRFL. So those were the 2 main issues.
Yeah, well, you talked about the eligibility. I think that's been worked on by the lawyers and, of course, the election steering committee, as you mentioned. So probably in the next few days or so, we should know about the results.
Yep, the other side that siding with Brown Murema, the president of Mosby South Rugby League, the 20 affiliate leagues, there are 32 affiliate leagues that are eligible to take part in the AGM, majority 20 with Brown Murema. So those ones with Brown Murema are looking forward to have a result by the steering committee in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and before we go, a question for viewers if you want to be part of the discussions. The question is, what are your thoughts on the deferral of the Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League Annual General Meeting? Now, before we go, Fideli Sukina, final words from you.
Oh yeah, during the deferral of the AGM, the chairman Sandy Saka was flanked by the president of Lay Rugby League, Adrian Chow, and of course, chairman of Port Moresby Rugby League, Dr. James Naipau, and they shared similar sentiments together on the fact that the election process must not compromise the trust of the stakeholders of the game. So that was the important message that they gave out. And also, Sandys has also brought the league back to life for the past 6 years that most Papua New Guineans are aware of, that he has done a lot to help grow the game. We have the Kumuls and the Orchids last year winning very big, crucial matches in the international scene also, and also the Hunters program, struggling a bit last year and that, but it's a program, pathway program, development of the game, where it ensures the players go overseas to secure contracts outside of Papua New Guinea. So those are some of the big things that were contributed by Sandys, but the leagues that are opposing Sandys and are supporting Brown Murema are stating that it's not trickling down to their level. So it all comes down to the next 3 weeks, how the election steering committee headed by Rhea Taurau consult with the legal team, and whatever outcome, the AGM will convene on the 28th of this March, and we will see whether it will go ahead with a new vote, and we might see a new chairman, or will Sandys still remain. So that's going to happen on the 28th of this month.
Interesting now. Yep, whatever happens, all for the better for Rugby League. Yep, now, if you want to be part of the discussions tonight, you can join us on our social media Facebook page, that's Sportscene. Have your say. The question again is, what are your thoughts on the deferral of the Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League Annual General Meeting? Do join us for the discussions on Facebook. Listen, don't go away. We'll have a break now and we'll brief you on what's coming up this weekend on the other side.
Welcome back. You're watching Sportsy. Now, before we wrap things up here on the show, Credit Corp is now seeing through its 4th year of supporting Port Moresby Netball Sparrows Club. Sportsy caught up with the club as they were going through the tryouts on Saturday.
On behalf of the executive and the club.
About 100 netballers turned up on Saturday for the Sparrows tryouts at the Ritterflin courts. While some were interested players, others were returning players, and their turn-up alone shows the growth of the club over the years.
Yeah, look, I guess for Sparrows Netball Club, over the last 3 years, we lost in the main Premier Division. We lost in the grand final, but 2 years before that, the other 2 years, we got through to the grand final and won. So maintenance-wise, we've always been in the top 2 and want to claim that position again. Just as in a junior development sense, we've got junior teams from under 10s right through to under 21s. A very comprehensive community program that we run as well to ensure that our girls not just play netball but also understand and realize the community around them, and how maybe some of the girls are less fortunate than others. So we really drive our community project. Later on this month or early next month, the Credit Corp Sparrows team will take part in a rural tournament, netball tournament in Hula, called the Igapi tournament, and that's something that we'll give back to the community as well.
Being one of the top clubs in the biggest netball competition and or association in the country by far, the Sparrows are always in need of the right kind of support to maintain its activities. Nevertheless, Credit Corp has recognized Sparrows' potential and is extending its support to the 4th year running.
Credit Corporation have come on board again for the Sparrows Netball Club for the 4th year now, with a cash component sponsorship of 35,000 kina.
In the last 3 years, this support has seen Credit Corp Sparrows through to finals, and that is something they're looking to maintain or even better in this season.
You know, every year we call for an open trials. We expect maybe 50 to 100. Today we got over 200 girls come in and register, both new and old. It's always very exciting, start of the season. So the comp doesn't start till after Easter, a couple more weeks, which gives us good time to prepare our girls properly, from under 10s right through to the senior division. So overwhelming response for our open trials, and looking forward to 2020 season.
There you have it. All the best to Credit Corp Sparrows this season. Let's take a look now at what else is coming up this weekend. There you have it. Do go out there and show support for your local teams and or competitions. Now, to be featured on Sports Scene, or if you know of an amazing or interesting sports story or event that you would like us to cover, you can always email us at sports@emtv.com.pg, or you can message us on our FB page, on that Sports Scene FB page, or call us on 312-9200 and ask for Bradley or myself. But if you're in Palm, you can always stop by at Boroko Garden City Level 2 and ask for any one of us at the reception. Apart from that, for our viewers who are passionate about rugby league and are following our Have Your Say segment, the topic for this week is the PNGRFL AGM Deferral. And the question is, what are your thoughts on the deferral of the PNG Rugby Football League Annual General Meeting? think that's all for now. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dino Striko.
And I'm Bradley Valenaki. This has been a pleasure having you on board. Good night now.
Coming up next week.
Now I am here at the China Table Tennis College at the Seaview International Garden in Port Moresby.
I reckon it is a very successful year for table tennis in Papua New Guinea.